Hey guys, if you haven't already, give the video a like, subscribe to my channel. This is a what if series and I'll be doing more down the road. Plus Ultra.
Hey guys, and welcome to What If Naruto Gave In to Hatred. Now, before we get into the video, there's a few things that I need to say. For some of you in the comments, I'm not gonna call them names, but for some of you in the comments, the whole idea of a what if is to basically go outside theory, just basically go outside canon, and to come up with an idea of what would have happened in this scenario. Now, the idea that came across me about this specific topic was that when Naruto and Sasuke fought, well, they didn't necessarily fight. They just had a little Rasengan Chidori clash. And this was after, Sasuke got done fighting Kakashi and Sasuke almost killed Sakura with Naruto coming in to save Sakura. In that split moment, Naruto said that to Sasuke that, in his head, he didn't necessarily say it, but he said, Sasuke, our roles could have been reversed. Meaning that Naruto could have necessarily ended up like Sasuke. Mind you not. The thesis, I don't really go that much into a mathematical detail, which I'm going to start doing in the future, but I really don't go that much into detail. But I'm just talking about a scenario to where, what if Naruto gave into hatred? What if Naruto didn't turn out like the Naruto we know in canon? Because push come to shove, Naruto had so many reasons where he could have went evil. Kishimoto could have woke up one day and said, you know what? Naruto been suffering a lot from these people in these villages and everything. I don't know why I wrote it like that. Maybe I'm just going to write him out being evil. It could have easily happened, but it didn't. Naruto endured. And I want to, ask you guys this same question. If you was in Naruto's shoes and you went through his same position, could you be good? Ask yourself that question. Could you do exactly what Naruto did? Could you sit there and endure people ignoring you, not talking to you, looking at you like you a piece of shit, and basically just looking at you like you dirt, like you the worst thing on earth? Could you deal with that? And this man had to deal with that growing up. So the whole time he's growing up, he has to deal with people running away from him, calling him a monster, calling him a demon, basically scoffing at him. This man barely even made friends. You telling me that's not enough? Boy, so what I'm getting at is that I'm just making a what if outside idea. The whole idea of a what if is to basically be unrealistic. It's to basically go separate from canon and to come up with your own ideas of what you think would have happened if Naruto so and so and so and so, etc. But that's enough ranting. Let's get back into where we left off. I hope you guys enjoyed the part 2 to this video. Thank you for the overall support for the first video. Now, this is going to be covering all the way into Shippuden. So, let's get to it. So, with all that being said, the team said, the Naruto retrieval team is set. Now, of course, everything plays out with the same events happening. Nothing really too much change. The only change that happens is that Sasuke is there and he's able to pinpoint where, Jirobo's weakest spot in his sand dome and rock dome. And Choji fights Jirobo. Neji fights the spider guy. I really can't pronounce his name because I feel like it sounds somewhat to Kimimaro. Just too many K names. Anyway, so everything plays out normal with them telling Sasuke to go ahead. Now, Sasuke and Shikamaru would have easily dealt with Tamari. I mean, not Tamari. It's not Tamari. It's Tauya. Yeah, Tauya. It's her. So, with that being said, because that whole genjutsu thing or flute thing she was using really wouldn't work with the Sasuke with a 3 Tomoe Sharingan who can just look her in the eyes and basically trap her in the genjutsu, or basically just not even do that. Be fast enough to blitz Tauya and basically just knock her ass out. So with all that being said, Shikamaru and Sasuke would then journey on, but this time they would see that Naruto has bursted out of his urn. Now, with that, Kiba already is fighting Zakon and Ukon. That's already a no-go. So, when they get to the field, they see that Naruto is behind Kimimaro. I think that's Kimimaro or something like that. If I'm pronouncing his name wrong, correct me in the comments. But I think it was Kimimaro or something. Kimimaro. I think that's his name. So, he would be standing behind Kimimaro, and Naruto would have elongated hair. His hair would be just as long as the 4th Hokage's, right? And he would basically just have a pharaoh look. basically not like Sasuke's skin. Like, nah, his skin is a more of a tanner color, though. It's not like a dark black or something like that. It's more of a tan color. Naruto looks back to reveal that his face is more pharaoh looking. And he looks at Sasuke, and Shikamaru. Then he sees Rock Lee come up into the field. And they all look at Naruto, which basically Naruto looks at them and scoffs. And he asks, why did you guys follow me all the way out here? And this is where, well, Sasuke says, why are you leaving the village, you loser? And Naruto just basically says, for years, I've been putting up with constant glares, constant look-ats, people shunning me away, calling me a demon, calling me a monster. And that kind of tormented me. That's traumatizing for a kid. I had no one, no family, no mother, no brother, no nothing. I was alone. That loneliness gets to you. That could seep right in when you feel like you're the only person in the world. What does your existence really mean? What does my existence in the Leaf Village mean at this point? Naruto is sitting there talking to Sasuke as if he's telling Sasuke that he wants Sasuke to relate with him. What he's saying right now, that his existence in the Leaf Village, they've hid secrets from him, haven't told him anything. The third Hokage hasn't even told Naruto about who his parents are or anything like that. Even when we call back to when Minato and Kushina asked the third Hokage to protect Naruto, to basically take care of Naruto. Yeah, he did a bang-up job with that one. So this scenario is like, that's playing a role into Naruto's basically trauma. So, tangent aside, so Naruto is just basically looking at them, and then he just says, stop following me. I'm going to get answers. I want the truth about my situation. I want to know what happened. I want to know why they treated me like this. I want to know why the Hokage. Naruto basically just stops. And then he just turns around. Enough explaining. I really don't have the time for this right now. Sasuke gets angry by this, and he says, so you're just going to turn everything away. You're just going to throw all that hard work away. I thought you wanted to become Hokage. I thought you wanted to be acknowledged by the village. Then Naruto looks back at Sasuke, just only turning his head slightly. And he says, how can someone like me be acknowledged by the village when they see me as a monster? Do you think they'll put a monster in that position? No, they won't. Plus, I think a certain someone needs to die in order for that to happen. And this is where Sasuke feels this cold aura around Naruto, and then Naruto just leaps away. But as Sasuke is getting ready to jump after Naruto, well, Kimimaro shoots these bone bullets at him, and he basically dodges with a Sharingan. And this is where Sasuke and Kimimaro get into a taijutsu battle with each other. Now, Sasuke notices that Kimimaro is using these bone-like appendages from his body. And to which this is causing, well, them a lot of problems. Well, not problems or nothing like that, because Sasuke with his Sharingan, I don't even know how I say that problems, because you got Sasuke and Shikamaru there, and then Rock Lee there too, so yeah. Kimimaro is basically on the back foot until you start using this curse mark. Now, you can go on to argue and say that, well, you got a Sasuke, a Shikamaru, and a Rock Lee there. That's like an ultimate duo, because Rock Lee with his drunken fist, and Sasuke with his 3 Tomoe Sharingan, and Shikamaru with his strategy, if he could come out with a strategy and something like that. Yeah, you can say that. They all could use strategy, because that's basically, it can push Kimimaro back, because that's a lot of people to focus on, especially with somebody with the 3 Tomoe Sharingan. Now, with that being said, that will push him into using his curse mark stage 2, and then that would speed up the process of him, well, using that whole, like, bone floor thing. Well, that bone spike thing right there. But in the nick of time, Gaara would come in and save Sasuke, Rock Lee, and Shikamaru from the trouble of getting basically impaled by Kimimaro. Now, Kimimaro would do the same thing, come out of one of his bone spikes and basically just die as Gaara looks right at him, almost getting impaled through the head. Now, with Shikamaru's strategic mind, you can even say that Kimimaro is basically a prodigy because he calls Rock Lee and Gaara enough time. But you got Sasuke, who has a 3-2 Sharingan, and a Rock Lee there who uses Drunken Fist. Even if I don't think he would have to use that. But even if you pushed him to that level, and Shikamaru like in the backfield thinking of a strategy of how to get around Kimimaro and his defense. So yeah, and you can either go into like further detail saying that how would they evade like his whole bone whip thing at when he pulled out his bone, like his spine, and started whipping it at them like that. Well, a lot of excited that can go on with that, but I don't want to go too much into detail with that one. All I can say is that with all three of them there, they didn't necessarily beat him like that, but they basically got past him. Like, he wasn't that much of trouble. So with all that being said, they would tell Sasuke to journey on, and Sasuke would rush on, barely making it, to see that Naruto was almost gone, but he was at the final valley. But he wasn't on the statue. But he screams out Naruto's name, and Naruto looks back and just sighs out. He just, so you're not gonna let me go, Sasuke, are you? You're basically gonna get in my way. You're gonna take me back to a village that shows resentment for me. But after all this time, so you were just hiding these feelings deep down inside you? And this is where Naruto would turn to Sasuke, his face looking normal, but Naruto's eyes is just like basically a dull blue. His hair longer, his basically teeth are showing, like his feral teeth. Like Naruto, like, don't imagine like his teeth like are in the Haku state. It's just showing that he has the 9-tail features. Basically, his whisker marks are grown out, his eyes are red, and his teeth is elongated like fangs, and his nails is elongated. So Naruto just looks back at Sasuke and says, this is how they see me. This is what they see me as. A beast, a monster. But I don't hold resentment for the village, if that's what you're saying. I don't hold any hatred for the village. I'm just disappointed. I'm just very disappointed. But that disappointment can turn into something destructive. You see a lot of that happening, don't you, to the Leaf Village, Sasuke? Think about it. The attack with Orochimaru, that was done out of hatred. And I could see where he was coming from. And this is where Sasuke is telling Naruto that hatred, whatever you're going through, Naruto, let me help you. Let me pull you to the light. And this is where Naruto would look at Sasuke and say, no, I want answers. I need answers that are not coming from your lips, but the past Hokage. I want to know the truth from each and every one of them. Then I'll make my decision of what I will do. And what I'm going to do, most people are not going to agree with. So I have to go to Orochimaru. Now, with this being said, Sasuke would say, I'm not going to let you do that. Then we have no choice but to fight, Sasuke. Now, Sasuke would clench his knuckles. And this is where Sasuke's eyes would just go blazing a Sharingan. And he would rush over there by Naruto, to which he would throw a punch at Naruto. And punch Naruto directly into the face, sending the boy back a few yards. Now, Naruto would just be still standing up from this, taking the punch head on, to which Sasuke would come in for another punch, and Naruto would just grab his wrists. Now, this is where Naruto is getting ready to kick at Sasuke, because Sasuke dodges the kick. Now, with his 3-2 Sharingan, he's seeing this happening, like coming at him before it happens. Now, with that, Sasuke and Naruto ended up getting in a taijutsu bout with each other. Now, Naruto attacks are very vicious and animal-like, to a point that Sasuke, he's seeing this. Now, I'm stuttering all over the place. Now, as Sasuke is seeing this, Naruto is like, all right, since you can handle that, let me see what you can do at this speed. As Naruto's marks start to grow all over his face, Naruto's irises turn to a blacker shade as his aura radiates this just dark crimson red. The Nine Tails basically what the Nine Tails did is ridded Orochimaru from his body. Basically, yeah, the curse mark is basically, how do I explain this? Basically, the Nine Tails is using the curse mark to his advantage of basically taking, well, you got two people who want control. The Nine Tails wants to basically burst out of Naruto's body, and Orochimaru basically wants to control Naruto's body. So basically, the Nine Tails is basically going along with this to see who comes out on top. Do he get his chance, or do Orochimaru get his chance? Basically, it's like a game. It's like a game of poker where you don't even know who got the best hand. So Nine Tails is just waiting to play his cards. Anyway, so with all that being said, Naruto starts to speed up, and then he punches Sasuke directly in the stomach and then kicks Sasuke directly in the water. Now, this is where Sasuke and Naruto, well, basically look at each other. Sasuke gets from under the water, and Sasuke looks at Naruto with a very angry face, and he says, "You're going to turn your back on all your friends." And Naruto would say, "Where were you friends when I was going through all of that pain, suffering by myself?" Naruto would just have a tear roll down his face, but he would tell Sasuke that this fight is pointless. I don't want to fight you, Sasuke. And Sasuke would be like, "Why? Why won't you?" And he would look at Sasuke and says, "Because you're a friend, and I don't want to hurt any one of those I care about, even someone like you. You're someone that knows pain. You know what it's like to be alone. You felt it, just like I have, when you lost your entire village. I'm surprised that didn't send you into the state of darkness. But I'm happy to see that you, out of all of us, you stay close to the light, unlike me." Now, with this, Naruto would then turn around, and Sasuke would be right in his face and punch Naruto directly in the face, to which Naruto would just take the blunt of the punch and then grab Sasuke's wrist and then remove it down. And he would say, "Sasuke, this battle, I do not want to fight you." And Sasuke says, "Too bad, because I'm not going to let you go to Orochimaru, Naruto." And Naruto would just breathe out a sigh and punch Sasuke in the face 2 times and then sling him down to the water. And this is where Naruto is basically sitting down on top of the Hokage statue. And at this point right here, Naruto is telling Sasuke that he wants to basically find out information from the 4 Hokage. And this information will decide to whether he will go further into the world of darkness or he will transcend back to the light. Now, as he's telling Sasuke this, the both of them are getting to a fight, and Naruto is dodging and evading most of his hits. Now, with that, the Nine Tails amps up Naruto a little bit more, and then sprouts a chakra cloak around Naruto, to which Naruto wraps Sasuke up with his chakra, and Sasuke is looking at him, and then he says, "Naruto, please stop this. This is not you." And what Naruto does is he brings Sasuke to by eye level, and he tells him, "Sasuke, I'm not going to stop until I find out what I need to know. And you are quite persistent, aren't you? You're not going to stop until I knock you out, are you?" And Sasuke would just be looking at Naruto with a very angry face. And this is where Naruto would just sigh out. And he would see that the others are journeying up. So Naruto would just sling Sasuke hard as he can, putting all his strength into this throat and slinging Sasuke into the statue. And to which Sasuke would crash into it, going unconscious. And Naruto would basically journey away. Now, with that being said, this fight wasn't as climactic as it was in the canon. But yeah, I didn't want to go down the route of pushing Naruto, like, say, for example, Naruto's like this ferocious animal and wants to just kill and everything. No, not like that. Okay, but he's descending towards that. But it's just going to basically be little steps. Now, anyway, tangent aside, he gets to Orochimaru, and basically that's when Naruto starts his training. Now, of course, the team finds Sasuke, and they find him unconscious, and then they take him back with Kakashi being there and noticing that they lost basically a Team 7 member. Now, with that, over the course of the 3 years, Sasuke would have been training, and he would have been training very hard to learn, basically master his lightning control, master his Sharingan and stuff like that. Trying to just get stronger so that one day he can bring Naruto back to the village. Bring Naruto back, help him see reason. But with this said reason, he wants to believe that Naruto won't descend towards darkness, that he won't go towards darkness. Now, with that being said, This is where Naruto is basically talking with Orochimaru. Naruto's now 16 years old, and he's looking directly at Orochimaru. And he says, do it. Now Orochimaru weaves hand signs, and he hits the ground, summoning the 4, basically, coffins. Now out from the coffins comes the first Hokage, the second Hokage, the third Hokage, and the fourth Hokage. Now all of them have their consciousness and just been revived, and Naruto is sitting right in front of them. And this is where the fourth Hokage would, Naruto? And this is where Naruto would look at him and say, who are you supposed to be? Wait, you don't know who I am? I don't. And this is where the fourth Hokage would look at the the third Hokage, but he didn't think. I mean, you could. Now this is where Naruto would say, let me guess. Naruto starts to tear up as tears come down his eyes. You're my father, aren't you? And this is where Minato would say yes. Now Naruto and Minato would get into a talk as Naruto goes over to hug his father. And Naruto is filled with so much emotion right now. Anger, sadness, resentment. All these emotions is hitting Naruto at once. And Naruto then questions Minato to why would you put the 9 tails inside of him? Why would you put me through all that? The village hates me. They see me as some kind of monster. They don't see me as no hero. They don't even trust me. They look at me as a ticking time bomb. Minato explains everything he could to his son. And he apologizes for putting his child through all that. Naruto senses the nature from Minato. But then he looks at the third Hokage and he walks over to him. And he says, Third Hokage, why didn't you tell me who my parents were? That I even had parents. And the third Hokage would say, I'm sorry, Naruto. I didn't think it was the right time. This is where Minato would say, Hiruzen, when we died, Kushina told you to protect Naruto, didn't she? Did you abandon Naruto or something like that? And Hiruzen would admit to this. He didn't protect Naruto. He didn't hold up to the promise that Minato and Kushina had. Like Hiruzen sensed this and he said he apologized for it because he wasn't really there for Naruto at all. And the fourth Hokage would just bow his head. Now, the Naruto would walk over to the second and first Hokage, and while they all getting to know each other and everything, the second Hokage would look at Naruto, and both of them would just stare at each other, and he would say, Second Hokage, why do you hate the Uchiha so much? Why do you want to annihilate them? What have they ever done to you? Is it this whole Senju and Uchiha feud between you two? Now, the second Hokage would explain everything about this, even questioning Naruto to what's it to him questioning your elders. But Naruto just wants to know that why he hates the Uchiha so much. And he looks at the first Hokage and says that Hashirama, Lord first. And Hashirama says yes. And he will look at him and say, you were friends with the Uchiha, but ended up having to kill your best friends in order to protect your village. And he would say, right. Can you both explain to me what it means to endure? What it means to go through pain? What it means to sacrifice even your family for the sake of your village? And this is where the first Hokage and the second Hokage gives Naruto a bunch of information. A whole lot of information about the village and everything, telling Naruto about the past, what's to come, all the wars, and what they had to endure. Naruto has a grasp, and this is where Naruto is basically saying, okay, well, I think it's time. I think it's time that I do what I need to do. But I'm going to need the four of your help. There's this group out here called the Akatsuki, and what they're doing is basically going around capturing each and every one of the tailed beasts. I don't know what their plan is, but if what I can go per se is that they're trying to do some Eye of the Moon thing, and I don't know what that means. Now, this would get Hashirama thinking, and Hashirama would just start to decide that maybe this strongly has something to do with Madara, but he can't be too sure. So with that being said, Orochimaru would necessarily take Naruto's body. He have a change of heart, a very change of heart. Naruto would have taught no jutsu to Orochimaru and to stop, like, basically hurting the village, stop going about your crazy ways and stuff like this, because it's not getting you anywhere. So, yeah, Orochimaru would have had a change of heart. Now, with this, the 4 Hokage would have accompanied Naruto way back to, well, they would accompany Naruto on his mission to basically capture each one of the tailed beasts. And with Orochimaru, Karin, and Zugetsu with them. Now, not Jugo. Wouldn't go that far. I don't think Naruto would need him. I mean, of course, but nah. Naruto, of course, would visit Jugo from time to time with his stay with Orochimaru, and Jugo wouldn't be as hostile, but yeah, wouldn't be on this said mission. They already got too many shooters. If I bring him, then it's just too much OP. So yeah, with that being said, Naruto and company would go around informing and telling the tail beasts about the company of the Akatsuki. Now with that, Naruto would just go around and asking each tail beast to join his group so that they can go and destroy the Akatsuki. Because this mission right here is to destroy the Akatsuki and basically eliminate them from the world. Now with that being said, Naruto and team would go out and basically get every tailed beast, basically talk to every tailed beast. Now, of course, some of the people wouldn't be agreed by this because they don't know who the 4 of these people is. They look like cracked, well, basically dead versions. They basically don't look like, they look scary, put it that much, because they got cracked faces and everything. They look like if you push them over, they're gonna break. Now, with that being said, that Naruto basically did some convincing and talked to all of them. He talked to Roshi, telling Roshi, learning about his tail beast and talking to him. He even managed, when he got all the tail beasts together, they had a whole meeting with all the tailed beasts in there. Naruto even managed to persuade Kurama to stop with all his hatred and everything. So yeah, it's not like Naruto at first, he still has hatred on his mind. Because he's still angry. Who wouldn't be? He's angry, he's mad. Hatred is like strong, but it's still there. Naruto is still there. And the Nine Tails even tell Naruto that his hatred is still there. He has to conquer that hatred. And Naruto really looks at the Nine Tails and says, "One day I will, Kurama." And then Naruto just roll over and says, "If you don't control your hatred soon, it might consume you. And you might do something you regret." So with that being said, as the Nine Tails is talking to Naruto, and they all have this tailed beast meeting, to where they all talking to each other, learning the tailed beast names, and Naruto goes around and telling that he will remember each and every one of their names. So, with that being said, now that they got all the tailed beasts, they basically go on a hunt for the Akatsuki. Now, Sasuke basically already started to go on his journey to find Itachi. Now, once he finds Itachi, he talks to Itachi. He learns from Itachi. He asks Itachi, "Did you really have to kill the village?" Because he wants to know what was the reason behind that, and don't give me a half-assed lie. I don't have the Mangekyo Sharingan or nothing like that, but I'm willing to listen if you are willing to tell me everything you know. I don't want to hear the whole speech that Sasuke must not know the truth, because I already heard it from the 5th Hokage, Lady Tsunade, that you were a spy for the Akatsuki. You work as a spy, and you basically are loyal to the Leaf Village. You are very loyal to the Leaf Village. More so that you asked the 3rd Hokage to spare me. And this is where Itachi's eyes was widened. Now, Itachi would tell Sasuke everything that he knows. Tell Sasuke the truth about what's going on, what he did in order to protect him. He tried to stop the Aku, but his father would not listen. And Itachi even cried at this. He had to do what he had to do. Now, with that being said, Sasuke would look at Itachi, and he basically would have tears in his eyes. And from that point on, Itachi and Sasuke would have just not fought. Sasuke understood where Itachi is coming from. And in that situation, if he was in Itachi's shoes, he probably would have done the same thing. Now, so Itachi didn't die. This is where Sasuke would tell Itachi that you don't have to be a spy anymore. You can come home now. And Itachi would say, it isn't that easy, Sasuke. And this is where Sasuke says, it is. Just give up the whole Akatsuki thing. I'll probably be thrown in jail for the acts that I've committed. And this is where Sasuke would say, we're a hunting tailed beast. So the acts that I've committed are not forgivable. And this is where Sasuke would just stick his hand out and say, please, you're the only family I have left in this world. Now, of course, now we can say that Itachi comes to the village and basically gets well incarcerated and stuff like that, but I don't think, say for example, if Lady Tsunade was like knew what happened, I don't think she would incarcerate Sasuke like that, even if he was a spy. He was a spy for the Leaf Village and stuff like that. But most people really didn't know that much, so I really doubt that she would even know that Itachi's a spy, because all she sees Itachi as an Akatsuki member. So I'm gonna go with this one. The more accurate one is that Sasuke, well, Itachi tells Sasuke that he's basically going to watch over Sasuke, but he's not going to serve the Akatsuki no more. Basically, he's going to be just wandering the lands. And he tells Sasuke that he's not going to go back to the Leaf Village because he highly doubts that they're going to see him as some hero. Last time he came there, it wasn't very friendly, welcoming. Anyway, so with that being said, Sasuke basically journeys his way back to the Leaf Village and basically starts his training more. But he often worries and wonders what Naruto is up to because he's just worried about him. He hopes he's not getting into anything bad or is descending down a more darker path. Little does he know that Naruto's out there saving each and every one of the tailed beasts. He's doing some kind of peace for the world. He's trying to basically gather as much of protection as he can to basically protect the world from going into a basically war-like pattern all over again. With the previous Hokage telling him of the first, second, and third Great Ninja War, he does not want a fourth one to start. So basically what Naruto is doing is putting the weapons on the side of good. So anyway, with that being said, thank you guys for loving this series. Part 3 is going to be the final part to this series. Yeah, I really thought this was going to stretch into 4 parts, but no, this is going to really stretch into 3 parts. Part 3 is going to be the final part to this series, and it's going to be Light of Hope. That's what it's going to be titled. But from this part right here is Naruto is still descending towards that hatred-like path because he still feels like he hasn't conquered his dark side. And Nine Tails is telling him that for you to basically come to terms to what people have done to you, you have to conquer the hatred that it lives inside your heart. And that's going to be further explained in part 3, the final part. Anyway, thank you guys for loving this series. I'm going to be releasing What If Naruto was Sanamin's reincarnation right after this. But without any further ado, you guys have a good day, a good night, and plus ultra. Good night, guys.
君の虜になってしまえばきっとこの夏は充実するのもっと噂の Dreaming が忘れないででも気持ちは伝えてしまえばいつかその夢は覚めてしまうだろうな青い影が揺れる街角君の虜になって